screaming at you. It's right in your face. And get ready for a target that will blow your mind. Holy crap. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Sean Jackson and welcome you back to yet another Ethereum analysis video today. Yes, we're going to be doing Ethereum. It's been a while. Now, we have been talking about Ethereum in our Discord. We've been talking about how and why we should be keeping an eye on it. It's been showing strength while the rest of the coins weren't. And this was a massive shift from what Ethereum has been doing this entire cycle, right? And we were able to really easily identify that using the Mango dashboard. Now, again, the Mango dashboard has been a freaking lifesaver, and you don't even need the premium version to get its edge, right? To extract its edge. Even the free version would be just enough. You can find it at app.mangoresearch.co. Right over here, what we're going to do is you could filter out ETH, but it's right over here at the top of the dashboard. We're going to hit the drop down here. ETH USD was showing green across the board, and volatility was looking great too for the longest time with blue, right? That's what we want to see. While the rest of the coins weren't showing the same profile. And one of the easiest ways to find strong coins in the crypto market is to just filter through the dashboard for coins that are green. If you're looking too long, right? If you're looking short, you're looking for coins that are red. So what you want to see is green here and blue here, right? Now, recently, because Ethereum has taken a nice move towards the upside, 22% on the 12-hour, 22% on the daily, 24% on the 2-day, showing that the moves happened across all time frames at the same time, right? You're seeing 24% returns across all the time frames, while the reversal dates were actually not the same, essentially showing that we had a slow build up of Ethereum reclaiming key trend levels while maintaining a very healthy volatility. That's why it was so easy. That's why even me, even though I've been so negative on Ethereum for years now, you guys know that all the way back in 2022, 2023, actually 2022, I was very negative on the ETH Bitcoin pairing. I mean, you can zoom out right over here. You guys can see that the first big bear call that we had on Ethereum was right over here, but we built our confidence on the bearish thesis of a big move down to around 0.0. We hit it to the T, by the way. Our target was hit to the T. Anyways, we called it all the way back over here at 0.06. Now, I'm not here saying, hey guys, I told you so. What I'm trying to say is, even though I've been bearish on Ethereum for so long, I had to call a spade and say, hey, it's beginning to look really good now. ETH USD looking good, and if you go ahead and hit the drop down on the ETH Bitcoin pairing, looking good as well, right? Long across all the time frames. So we are going to be covering ETH a lot more frequently moving forward, at least until we see no reason to do so. And I'll be doing it on the daily videos and the premium videos as well for extra alpha, for the lower time frame trades, etc. For the quick trades where I don't need to care about the YouTube algorithm, we'll be posting some really good trades on here. On over to the charts, we're going to start with the 3-day time frame because this is where essentially I have been accumulating my trade. At the same time though, I have given myself permission to use the lower to mid time frame trend reclaim right over here on the 3-day to start building my position slowly and surely and get aggressive as we start reclaiming more trend levels. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys how I'm playing. If you guys have been following me now for the past few years, you guys know that I was looking at this target right over here for years now, right? But when it did come, right, it was difficult to buy. And we foreshadowed that I'd find some reason or the other to not buy, right? And during this phase, I did have good reason, right? ETH BTC and ETH USD weren't looking as good as other coins that were giving me better opportunity through a risk reward standpoint and also fit my rules. So while we did have a target that was met, and I told myself, Sean, you better buy when that target does come to fruition, I was able to tell myself, you know what, Sean, you are staying within your rules by not buying ETH over here because you have another stronger superseding rule, which was that Bitcoin dominance is still in a massive uptrend and you can only allocate around 10% to 5% towards all coins, right? So I had to be very, very picky about which coins I picked. Now, however, because of how the entire market has been unfolding, ETH has been showing far more strength compared to a lot of the other coins, while giving me exactly what we talked about a few months ago, which was that rounded high-low formation. Now, I would have liked for this to actually come down a tad bit lower, right? So that way it'd be a lot closer to this low that we put in over here at around 0.01764. But at the same time, right, I've learned through experience, guys, that when the market is not giving me what I want and it's holding a level consistently, you need to start paying attention, okay? It's not giving you what you want. How often have you guys been in that very same position where you're looking for a high low, you're looking for a dip, and the market is not giving you what you want, right? Whether it be with Bitcoin or your favorite altcoin that just kept going and going and going. That point of discomfort, that point of pain, when you notice that in yourself, you need to realize that a lot of other traders, a lot of other amateurs out there who will not have the discipline to recognize that and say, you know what, that's edge, because they will be waiting. I maybe need to just follow the indicators. I need to follow my edge. Now again, you don't need to use the Mango Dynamic. You guys can use whatever indicator you guys want. I'm using this to keep my life simple because over the years, this was created for exactly that, to reduce the stress for our altcoin trades, right? Because we don't want to be going through our, like for Bitcoin, we have a deep analysis that we go through multiple indicators, right? Multiple time frames. You can't do that for every single altcoin. For those coins that are your core holding, you need to do a deep analysis, but you can't do it for every single coin, right? For the coins that you're just trading to collect your favorite coin, you want something simple. You won't be able to scan through, and that's what Mango is all about, right? We create an easy, stress-free methodology, and even our tools are just that. Everything is designed for simplicity. Everything is designed to be easy and stress-free. The point is, this was an easy way for me to recognize that, hey, the 3-day time frame is holding very, very well. The 4-day time frame too, guys, especially if you're using the newest version of the Mango Dynamic with the position builder tools, you're going to see that the 4-day was holding the zone. So I was noticing this. I was like, okay, you know what? I didn't buy over here. Well, I got in a tad bit, but not as much as I should have. I got in just to make myself feel better, but negligible, right? I need to start paying attention to this, and I'm going to start accumulating, and I'm going to keep it very simple, okay? We talked about this. If we lose the 3-day dynamic over here, I'll simply exit and look for a high low somewhere around this order block, right? That's how I was going to trade it, okay? So in case price does rally like it has, I wouldn't feel stupid about not buying over here and not buying over here either, and price, like how often has that happened to all of us, right? Through multiple coins, right? So I can recognize that pain because I felt that pain before, and I'm not going to make the same mistake again, right? So we accumulated slowly and surely, but not the whole position just yet. And we're going to talk about why very, very soon. And keep in mind, by the way, guys, I'm going to be going bigger on this trade compared to my other trades. And we'll talk about that as well. And if you guys want to follow me on this trade and wondering where you can put on this trade, I highly recommend BitConnects because they have reactivated the campaign for the Mango community, where if you guys deposit a certain amount, you get up to $400 back. That's literally them paying for any of your losses or you massively padding your profits, right? You know what this is them saying? This is them saying, hey, deposit $2,000 and you will get a 20% loss for free or 20% profit for free. These kind of deals do not come often. In a few years, you're going to be looking back at this and thinking, whoa, what happened to all of those deals and why didn't I take advantage of it while I could? But let's go on over to the next chart I want to talk about over here. Now we're going to stick to the 3-day time frame to keep things simple, and we're going to do an Ichimoku analysis. Now remember, guys, the Ichimoku is my favorite, all-time favorite tool. It's my bread and butter. This is where and how I started trading and what made me, in my opinion, such a good trader, because the Ichimoku is an all-in-one system. Okay, it's not a single indicator, it's an all-in-one system if used correctly, and it will force you to learn multiple concepts, which is why I recommend every new trader to use the Ichimoku, learn the Ichimoku. It's free, okay, and make sure you're learning it right though. Make sure you're learning it right. There's a lot of bad information out there. It forces you into a holistic view of looking at a asset. So right over here, we're looking at ETH Bitcoin on the 3-day time frame. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of our squigglies, and we have the Tenkin in blue. the Kijun in red, the cloud, which is still bearish, okay, keep that at the back of your mind. The trend is still bearish. You're going to come back to this. It's going to be very, very important when we come back to one of our higher time frame charts. So Tenkin is the blue line, Kijun is the red line, cloud is red, price is smashing up against the cloud at the moment. So this alone, right over here, this should tell you, hey, pause. Maybe you'll see an opportunity to bid lower, right? Now, what I do like about this entire structure is that it's setting up for one of Mango's favorite old school trades, which essentially, I'm going to go ahead and quickly highlight it. It's the Tenkin crossing over the Kijun, right? Price penetrating the cloud and then giving you a higher low into the cloud, maybe somewhere around here, right? Now, doesn't need to play out perfectly, just like how I've drawn. It could be a little bit higher and then put on a higher low somewhere around here. But the idea is we're looking for the Tenkin to cross the Kijun while price penetrates the cloud. Once we see that setup, right, you're looking to either buy immediately or look to bid the high low, because the trade after that is the edge-to-edge trade to the top of the cloud. That's what we're going to be looking for. This 200 moving average is going to come down further, somewhere around there, and you'll often see one of two things. Price either penetrate the 200 moving average and close above, or put in a wick somewhere around here. Like you see this level right over here around 0.050. We're going to come back to that as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if price actually sees a wick into that level and then closes back into the cloud, right? And you might say another high low, consolidate, shoot above like this, and then we'll talk about how price unfolds after, right? Again, I've traded the setup countless amount of times. Don't ask me why it works out this way, but it works out enough times, not every single time, but enough times for us to look for it to happen, right? Again, doesn't need to happen exactly like this. It could happen like this, do this, and then happen over here. Hopefully we'll get that high low to get a nice bid to add to our position. Now, why am I just not buying entirely? Why don't I just get my entire position? Because if you go ahead and look at ETH Bitcoin pairing with just the Mango dynamic, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hide all the squigglies. This looks freaking fantastic, right? This looks like a breakout. This looks like we've accumulated right over the Mango dynamic, held every single level, and now we've closed above, taking out the highs, etc., etc. Yes, looks fantastic, and it could very well just skyrocket up. And ETH has a reputation of doing that, but at the same time, me personally, I am following my rules over here. It has not been all that rewarding this entire cycle to buy breakouts. You often see breakouts break back into the range to buy, to hold a high low, and then you buy that, right? Again, there have been coins, okay, I would say 2 out of 10 that will have a breakout and just keep going. And maybe it does that, right? Especially after making people wait for so long, and then just when people capitulate, right, and give up on ETH as an opportunity, it does this. I feel like this could be one of those times where it just keeps going, which is why I preempted that by making sure I accumulate somewhere around here, because I was trying to imagine a situation just like this. Let's say ETH does this and I'm not in position, right? What kind of pain would I feel, right? And because of that, I was able to tell myself, Sean, you're going to feel like shit about yourself for getting this entire move, right? And then not being able to capitalize on it, right? There's no point. There's no point reading the markets perfectly if you don't make money out of it. And I've been there. I've been in the situation. I have so many stories to tell you guys, but for the live streams, we'll keep those for the live streams. Okay, let's get on over to our next charts. What do we have over here? The weekly. Okay, this is one of the big reasons why I do not want to buy willy-nilly on this breakout. The ETH Bitcoin pairing on the weekly time frame is still sitting up against resistance. Don't get me wrong, it's looking really, really, really great through a structural perspective, but through the trend trade, we haven't claimed the weekly dynamic just yet, and it would be nice to see this get claimed, put in a high low, hold it, and then make a move, right? So we have a long ways to go before this starts looking fantastic. If you go ahead and draw a horizontal right over here, right, you're going to see that just right above our target, but we're looking at this level right over here. I'm going to go ahead and just increase the visibility for you guys, and we're going to turn this to a actual solid line. Okay, there you go. So right over here, it's somewhere around 0.02419, right? we closed well above it. In fact, that lined up perfectly with the bottom of the Mango dynamic as well. So we closed the weekly well above it, right, into all of these wick highs over here, and now price is in continuation. But at the same time, we still have this level to contend with at around 0.2673 as well as 0.2734, right? So we can essentially really use this new feature of the Mango dynamic to mark out a resistance zone right over there on the weekly, clear this out now, and we're going to see that, hey, this is a trend resistance zone that the rest of the market might be missing. Now, if we clear this, I'll be looking for, if you go back on over to the cloud to get penetrated as well. You can see how everything comes into confluence. Maybe put in a high low somewhere around there. Look at that. Look how beautiful this is, right? Now we can see this situation playing out where we clear it, put in a high low somewhere around here, and then look for that big move to the top of the cloud. Now, all of you might be thinking, hey, Sean, you've been talking about ETH Bitcoin for a very long time. What about ETH USD? Let's jump right into that because I spent a lot of time on ETH Bitcoin. I have the ETH USD chart over here. We're looking at the monthly. In my opinion, if you're playing ETH USD, you should be playing it on the monthly or the 3-month chart. One of those two, okay? And we're going to look at both of them. You're going to see how clean and how easy and how bullish this is beginning to look. So I'm looking at the clean chart over here. I do have targets for you guys already on a more convoluted chart. We are going to come back to that in a bit. I want to walk you through how you can simply dissect a chart, especially if you guys want to keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free. All you're going to do is first switch on over to high time frames. Okay, start with the high time frame. Go as high as you can. You can even start with the 3-month. I'm going to show you that as well. But let's say you're not feeling the 3-month. Okay, you want to do the monthly. Okay, I say always start with at least a monthly on the coins that you guys are trading, especially if they're one of the top 10 coins that have been around for a while and they have the price action for the monthly time frame. Do this. Mark out the high. Okay, that's your high. Mark out the next high. Okay. Now, if it's lower than your previous high, that's your lower high. So you have a high and you have a lower high. Then you do the same thing for your lows, okay? You're marking out a huge range over here, okay? I'm asking you guys to look at the monthly so you get to look at the bigger picture. So you have a high and you have a lower high. Now we're going to do the same for your lows. You're going to go ahead and mark out your low that is absolutely evident to you within this range. And right over here, we're looking at around 890-ish, right? Low, then you mark out your next low, right? Right over here. It's very, very evident. It's screaming at you. It's right in your face. Don't overthink things, guys. If you're not sure, right? Is this a low? Sean, should I mark this one over here? No, none of that. If it's not screaming at you, just ignore it, okay? That's why the high time frames are so helpful, because it smoothens out all the noise. It cancels out all the noise, right? So you have your low and you have your next low. You do the same thing. Is this low higher or lower than the previous low? Oh, it's higher than my previous low. So it's a high low. You have a low, high low. You have a high, lower high. Think about that. What do you have over here? You have the structure of a squeeze. You have the structure of the market trying to decide which direction it wants to go. So what you're going to do right after that is you're going to go ahead and take a trend line. I'm going to do it again for you guys. Take a trend line and mark out the high to your next high, right? Your lower high. Then you're going to mark out your low to your next low, your higher low, right? Then if you want, you can go ahead and delete these lines, right? And you know what? We're going to keep the ones in the top. I'm going to go ahead and actually mark that out as a zone. So now you have your squeeze, okay? And you're not just drawing triangles willy-nilly without any psychological understanding of what the markets are doing. What this is telling you is that the market for years now, since 2021, 2022, has been trying to decide who's in control. If you're putting in lower highs, the bears are in control. If you're putting in higher lows, the bulls are in control. This is a market that is in consolidation, in indecision within this massive range. So if the market either breaks the lows or the highs, the market now goes into decision phase. From indecision to decision phase, right? So what does that tell you? If these highs are broken over here, the market has now decided upside is to come. If the lows are broken over here, the market would have decided that downside is to come, right? So how high, how low? Well, one of the easiest ways you guys can look for targets is by actually taking the width of the triangle. In this range, it's huge. So we're going to be seeing something around $15,000. It says 18-ish here, so you could take round up to 20,000 or round down to 15,000. I would err towards 15,000 if you guys want to keep it as simple as this. Personally, I have my own targets I'm looking at over here. This is the chart that I already did prior to the recording of the video. We're looking at around 7,800 to around 8,400 as the first target, right? You want to take profits along the way, and then you'll be looking at around 14,000 to around 16,000, right? And then yes, you do have that $18,000 target for the measured move. Remember, don't use just one technique. Don't use just one tool. That's how people end up back holding. Because even if your target does eventually come, you're like, man, let it keep going. You never end up taking profits at all. Now that's completely fine if you have like a 10-year, 15-year goal on Ethereum. But if you are building a big position on the lower time frames is 3-day and 4-day, right? Compared to the chart that we're looking at over here, which is the 3-month, by the way. Here we're looking at 3-month. And again, look how clean the 3-month is, guys. This is a bull flag. And I'm going to get you guys even more bullish now. I'm going to get you guys even more bullish. Right over here, if you use the bull flag structure for your measured move, you will be taking the pole of this, right? And get ready for a target that will blow your mind. Holy crap. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. Is that right? Is that right? Let me just. Okay, you know what, guys? Let's be fair. Let's just take the candle close to candle close, okay? Because that's ridiculous. Okay, $100,000 ETH. Why not? But remember, this, guys, is a 3-month chart, right? This bull flag has been put together since 2020. So we've been putting the structure for 5 years. This is not all going to happen within like the next 2 to 3 years. This is going to take at least 5 to 7 years. And why not? Why not? Okay. I wouldn't be surprised to see if ETH survives. If this pertains to all altcoins, okay? Any altcoin that actually survives to 2035 could have numbers that will blow your mind today, but are gonna look so obvious in hindsight in 2035. Whichever coin survives for 10 years, we're at that particular point in crypto right now. You really have to think about which coin do you think is most likely to survive in 10 years, because that 10-year number is likely going to shock you. So just placing your bets in coins that don't seem all that sexy right now, but have the survivability, is gonna pay effing dividends. For now, my focus is on milking this ETH Bitcoin trade. Like, the focus is going to be on ETH BTC, right? Because I'll keep collecting Bitcoin with excess profits and keep trying to bid into the higher lows. But I also will be keeping my eye on the ETH USD chart, especially on the higher time frame, so that way I know of the upside potential, or if the chart is actually beginning to show weakness, right? And if you guys want to follow me on this trade and wondering where you can put on this trade, I highly recommend BitConnect, because they have reactivated the campaign for the Mango community, where if you guys deposit a certain amount, you get up to $400 back. That's literally them paying for any of your losses, or you massively padding your profits, right? 400 USDT used with margin can really pay, guys. 400 USDT is a 20% loss buffer on a $2,000 trade. And in fact, that's exactly what you have to deposit. You deposit $2,000 and they give you 400 USDT. You know what this is them saying? This is them saying, hey, deposit $2,000 and you will get a 20% loss for free, or 20% profit for free. These kind of deals do not come often. In a few years, you're going to be looking back at this and thinking, whoa, what happened to all of those deals? And why didn't I take advantage of it while I could? And anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.